The transport ship Meridian's Hope shuddered violently as plasma fire tore through its hull. Sergeant Marcus Chun pressed himself against the bulkhead, his rifle clutched tight as emergency lights bathed the corridor in crimson. The Kithara raid had come without warning, their sleek warships descending like metallic vultures on the refugee convoy. "Chun, medical bay, now." Captain Rodriguez's voice crackled through his comm unit. Marcus sprinted through the smoke-filled passages, stepping over debris and helping wounded civilians toward escape pods. The ship groaned around him, a dying beast in the void. As he reached the medical bay, the crying hit him, a sound unlike anything he'd heard before. High-pitched and haunting. Inside, Dr. Sarah Kim knelt beside a makeshift cot where a small figure lay curled. The child couldn't have been more than 5 years old, but her appearance was otherworldly. Pale blue skin shimmered with bioluminescent patterns, and 4 delicate arms wrapped around her trembling form. Her large, dark eyes leaked tears that glowed faintly in the dim light. "She's Zephyrian," Dr. Kim explained, checking her scanner. "Parents didn't make it to the pods. Ship's going down in 3 minutes." The child's cries intensified as another explosion rocked the vessel. Marcus had seen plenty of war, plenty of death, but something about this small, terrified being broke through his hardened exterior. Without thinking, he knelt beside the cot and gently lifted the alien child. Moment his arms encircled her, she fell silent. Her 4 small hands gripped his uniform, and those luminous eyes stared up at him with desperate trust. Marcus felt something shift inside his chest, a protective instinct he didn't know he possessed. "What's her name?" he asked softly. "The translator picked up Zara," Dr. Kim replied, gathering her medical supplies. "She understands some standard." As they rushed toward the escape pods, Marcus whispered reassurances to Zara in his arms. The child's bioluminescent patterns pulsed, in rhythm with his heartbeat, creating an ethereal bond between human and alien. Behind them, the Meridian's Hope began its final descent into the gravity well of the planet below. Neither Marcus nor Zara knew that this moment would reshape not just their lives, but the future of interspecies relations across the galaxy. *6. Months later, the makeshift refugee camp on Kepler 442b had grown into a small city. Prefabricated buildings dotted the rust-colored landscape, and the air recyclers hummed constantly to maintain breathable atmosphere. Marcus had officially adopted Zara through the Galactic Refugee Commission, a process that raised eyebrows across multiple species. Commander Elena Vasquez, the camp's administrator, watched from her office window as Marcus taught Zara basic combat stances in the training yard. The sight never failed to amaze her. A battle-hardened human soldier, patiently guiding a luminescent alien child through defensive maneuvers. "You realize the political implications of this adoption?" asked Dr. Thane Corwick, the Altarian diplomat, who served as the camp's liaison. His crystalline features caught the artificial sunlight as he joined Elena at the window. "No human has ever formally adopted a Zephyrian. Their Council of Elders considers it unprecedented." Elena nodded grimly. The Zephyrians were known for their rigid social structures and xenophobic tendencies. They'd already sent 3 delegations demanding Zara's return to their homeworld for proper cultural education. Outside, Zara giggled as she successfully executed a blocking technique, her 4 arms moving in perfect coordination. Marcus grinned and ruffled her hair, causing her bioluminescent patterns to flare with joy. The bond between them was undeniable. "There's more," Dr. Corwick continued. "Our intelligence suggests the Kithara attack wasn't random. They were specifically targeting Zephyrian refugees. Someone wants to destabilize the peace treaties." A commotion in the yard drew their attention. 3 Zephyrian adults in elaborate robes had arrived, flanked by security escorts. Elder Vexara, identifiable by her silver facial markings, approached. Marcus and Zara, with obvious disdain. "Human soldier," she spoke in heavily accented Standard, "you hold what does not belong to you. This child must return to learn proper ways." Zara pressed closer to Marcus, her patterns dimming with fear. She whispered something in her native language, and Elder Vesara's expression hardened. "She says you are her father now," the elder translated. With disgust. "Impossible. Zephyri and Young do not bond with alien species." Marcus stood protectively in front of Zara. "She's been through trauma. I'm not giving her up to people who see her as property." The confrontation was interrupted by alarms blaring across the camp. In the sky above, dark shapes descended through. The cloud's Cathara fighters, their weapons already charging for another attack. The Cathara assault was swift and brutal. Their ships strafed the refugee camp with precision, targeting communication arrays and defensive installations. Marcus grabbed Zara and dove behind a concrete barrier as plasma bolts scorched the ground where they'd been standing. "The caves!" Elena's voice crackled over the emergency channel. "All civilians to the northern caves." Marcus hefted his pulse, rifle, and began returning fire, but keeping Zara safe was his priority. The alien child clung to him, her forearms wrapped around his neck as he ran through the chaos. Behind them, Elder Vexara and her escorts were pinned down by enemy fire. "Father." "Marcus," Zara cried, using the term she'd started calling him. "The bad ships, they come for me." Marcus skidded to a halt. "What do you mean?" Zara's bioluminescent patterns flickered in distress. "I remember ... before the crying. They spoke my name. They want Zara." The pieces clicked in Marcus's mind. The targeted attack on the refugee convoy, the precision strikes now, someone was hunting this specific child. But why? Dr. Corwick appeared from behind a damaged transport, his crystalline arm sparking from an injury. "Marcus, the Cathara are jamming our communications. We need to reach the underground bunker." A new voice cut through the battlefield noise, cold and mechanical. "Surrender the Zephyrian child, designated as Zara Kaveth. Resistance will result in termination of all refugee populations." The Cathara commander, a towering figure in black armor, stepped from his landed shuttle. His face was hidden behind a mask, but Marcus could feel the malevolent intelligence behind it. "Never happening." Marcus shouted back, adjusting his grip on Zara. "Then you will all burn," the commander replied, raising his weapon. Suddenly, Elder Vexara emerged from cover, her robes torn but her dignity intact. "Wait, Cathara scum. You seek the child? Then you must know what she carries." The commander paused. The old Zephyrian knows more than she has revealed. Vexara's silver markings seemed to glow with inner light. Zara Kaveth is not merely a refugee child. She is the last daughter of the Veth bloodline carrier of the ancient gene song that your people have hunted for centuries. Marcus felt Zara tremble in his arms. The child was looking at him with confusion and fear, not understanding the significance of the elder's words. "The gene song grants the ability to commune with the living ships of the Zephyrian fleet," Vexara continued. "In the wrong hands, it could control our entire defense network." The Cathara commander stepped forward, his weapon trained on the Theo. "Group, the child comes with us. The human soldier has 1 minute to comply." Marcus checked his rifle's power cell and pulled Zara closer. 60 seconds is more time than I need." The standoff stretched like a taut wire ready to snap. Marcus could feel Zara's rapid heartbeat against his chest as the Cathara forces surrounded them. Elder Vexara stood defiantly beside them, her earlier hostility toward Marcus forgotten, in the face of a greater threat. 30 seconds, human," the Cathara commander announced, His mechanical voice echoing across the ruined camp. Dr. Corwick limped closer, his crystalline features flickering with an idea. Marcus, remember the old stories about Zephyrian bonding? The gene song doesn't just control ships, it responds to emotional connections. Zara looked up at Marcus with those luminous eyes, and something passed between them. She whispered in her native language, then switched to standard. Father Marcus, I feel the singing inside. It wants to help. The child's bioluminescent patterns began to pulse more rapidly, spreading from her skin in waves of soft light. The patterns weren't random. They formed complex geometric shapes that seemed to resonate with some unseen frequency. Impossible, Elder Vexara breathed. She's too young, and the bond with a human should prevent. Her words were cut off as the ground beneath them began to vibrate. In the distance, a sound like whale song mixed with electronic harmonics filled the air. The Kithara commanders. Confidence wavered as his troops looked skyward. Breaking through the cloud cover came something magnificent, a living Zephyrian warship, its biometallic hull rippling with the same patterns now covering Zara's skin. The ship was massive, easily dwarfing the Kithara vessels, and it moved with organic grace despite its size. The harmony of stars, Vexara whispered in awe. But it was lost decades ago, during the first Kithara incursion. Zara's voice had changed, harmonizing with the ship's song. Not lost, sleeping, waiting for one who could sing it awake across the barriers of species. Marcus felt a strange tingling in his arms where he held Zara. Her patterns were somehow extending onto his skin, creating a bridge between human and Zephyrian consciousness. He could sense the living ship above, feel its ancient intelligence. Awakening after years of dormancy. The Kithara commander raised his weapon. No matter. One ship cannot. His words were lost as the harmony of stars descended, its bioweapons charging with ethereal light. But more importantly, its song was being answered. Across Kepler 442b's sky, other shapes appeared, a hidden fleet of Zephyrian vessels that had been camouflaged, waiting. How? The commander demanded. Zara's voice carried impossible wisdom for a child her age. The gene song was never about controlling ships. It was about calling family home. And Father Marcus helped me remember that family isn't just about blood. It's about who holds you when you cry. The battle that followed was swift. The awakened Zephyrian fleet, guided by Zara's unique hybrid consciousness, moved in perfect coordination. The Kithara forces, despite their technological advantages, found themselves outmaneuvered by ships that responded not to computer commands, but to the pure intention of protecting innocence. As Kithara ships fled into hyperspace, Marcus held Zara close, both of them exhausted from the psychic ordeal. Elder Vexara approached them with newfound respect. The Council of Elders will have much to discuss, she said softly. Perhaps we have been too rigid in our understanding of what makes a true Zephyrian bond. 1 year later, the Galactic Refugee Commission's new headquarters hummed with activity. The building, a marvel of cooperative engineering between human, Zephyrian, and Altarian architects, served as a symbol of unity in an increasingly connected galaxy. Marcus walked through the halls, wearing the insignia of the newly formed Interspecies Guardian Corps, with Zara skipping beside him. She'd grown taller, her bioluminescent patterns now incorporating subtle human geometric influences, a visible sign of their unique bond. Father Marcus, she said, her standard now perfect, the new children from Proxima Colony, they're afraid. Like I was. Through the observation window, Marcus could see the latest group of refugees, young beings from 6 different species, all survivors of another Kithara raid. Some wept, others stood in stunned silence, and a few displayed aggressive defensive postures. Commander Vasquez approached them, carrying a datapad. The psychological evaluations show severe trauma across the board. Standard counseling isn't working for the non-human children. Zara tugged on Marcus's sleeve. Can I try? The singing might help. Over the past year, Zara's abilities had evolved beyond anyone's expectations. She could now form empathic connections with most sentient species, serving as a bridge for understanding and healing. Elder Vexara, who had become an unlikely ally, theorized that her bond with Marcus had somehow expanded her natural Zephian gifts. Go ahead, little star, Marcus said. Using the pet name he'd given her, Zara approached the group of frightened children and began to hum not the powerful gene song that commanded starships, but something gentler. Her patterns pulsed with warm, comforting light as she knelt among them. Slowly, the young beings began to respond, their various forms of distress calming as they felt her genuine compassion. Dr. Corwick joined Marcus at the window, his own career having shifted toward xenopsychology. The Kithara have been quiet for months. Intelligence suggests they've abandoned their hunt for Zephyrian gene singers. Because they learned it can't be taken by force, Marcus replied. The connection has to be freely given. As they watched, a small Altarian child with scales instead of skin reached out to touch Zara's hand. The moment of contact created a brief flash of shared patterns across both their bodies' crystalline formations, meeting organic swirls in a display of perfect harmony. The Galaxy Council wants to meet with you both next month, Vasquez mentioned. There's talk of establishing a new treaty, the Zara Accords, they're calling it. Formal recognition of cross-species adoption rights and protections for children who manifest unusual abilities. Marcus smiled as he watched Zara help a young Kithara defector one, of many who had abandoned their people's aggressive ways after witnessing the power of compassion over conquest. The irony wasn't lost on him, that his daughter was now helping children from the very species that had once hunted her. Remember when you first held her? Vasquez asked. When she stopped crying? Marcus nodded, his eyes never leaving Zara as she worked her gentle magic with the traumatized children. I thought I was just comforting a scared kid. Turns out, she was teaching me what it really means to be human. As if sensing his thoughts, Zara looked back at him and smiled the expression that had become uniquely hers, combining Zephyrian luminescence with unmistakably human warmth. In that moment, Marcus knew that their journey together was just beginning, and the galaxy would never be the same. The child who had once cried alone in the darkness now helped others find their light, proving that love truly was the most powerful force in the universe. Asterisk.